What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my post-event recap for UFC Nashville. It is Tallison Teixeira going against Derrick Lewis, and we're going to talk about what just happened at UFC Nashville. It was a great card. I love the card. Can't wait to break it all down. Before we do so, like the video, subscribe to the channel, be on the lookout for UFC 318 content. I cannot wait for next week's card. If we thought this week was good, wait till next week is an absolute banger. Underrated card. The prelims are insane. Lots of finishes. I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, we had UFC Nashville here, and I do apologize for the voice. It's getting better, I think. It was really bad earlier today, but starting to finally get better. But I definitely wanted to come on here and break down what happened. All right, we'll kick it off. First fight of the card, we had Fatima Klein going against Melissa Martinez. And I had a bet on Fatima Klein to win, not to win inside the distance. I had the fight doesn't go to decision, actually, because it was the same price. So I took the fight doesn't go to decision, 1.5 units at plus 100, right? And I was very frustrated with Fatima Klein. It's like, I was not expecting her to go out there and get 0 takedowns, right? Elise Reed, of all people, was able to take down Melissa Martinez on multiple occasions. So, Klein was not able to take down Martinez, whether that's because, Klein's maybe not the best wrestler or, Martinez has leveled up the takedown defense, and maybe both are a little bit true. Was not loving my fight doesn't go to decision bet, 10 minutes into the fight. And then with about 2.5 minutes left in the third round, Klein lands a head kick and knocks down Martinez, follows up, the ref steps in. So I was able to cash the fight doesn't go decision there, but kind of felt a little bit lucky because that's not how I expected the fight to play out. I expected Klein to use that BJJ black belt, use that astronomical grappling advantage, but as we have seen lately, fighters are not really using what they're best at. But hey, Klein still got the job done. She was a minus 1,200 favorite. She knocked out Melissa Martinez. It was a nasty head kick. Shout out to her. I do still think, Fatima Klein's going to be a monster in this division. I think she can quickly run up the rankings. Only 25 years old. The striking, it looked that good. We didn't even get to see her grappling tonight, which is phenomenal. So yeah, I think Klein's the real deal, and that was a great head kick knockout. Up next, we got Mike Davis going against Mitch Ramirez. I passed on this one from a betting perspective, but of course I picked Mike Davis. And I've always been a big fan of Mike Davis, but, I'm kind of worried about him, right? Like, he's dealing with a lot of injuries. He's dealing with a lot of health issues. I was listening to a lot of his interviews and just with the Zion fight, just making a lot of excuses. But, he came out there against Mitch Ramirez, took him down early, had in a bunch of deep chokes. Mitch Ramirez fought the hands really well, and I was worried about Davis in that second round. It did look like he was starting to slow down a little bit. Mitch Ramirez had a really good moment at the beginning of the second round, but Mike Davis kind of settled in a little bit, took his time, and Mitch Ramirez just probably not UFC caliber. Just very hittable, and Mike Davis eventually finished him late second round there. So yeah, Mike Davis got the win, but going forward, I am a little bit worried about him. I didn't think he looked the best in that second round, but hey, he got the win, he got the finish, but this was just a layup of a matchup. So yeah, we'll see where Mike Davis goes from here. Up next, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu going against Walter Walker. Yeah, we didn't really get to see this fight play out. I actually had the Kennedy 2-3 props, which were completely dead in the water about a minute in. And Walter Walker literally did something almost impossible. I mean, you don't see that ever, and we probably will never see that ever again in the UFC, ever. 3 heel hooks in a row. Even getting 1 heel hook in the UFC against a UFC caliber opponent, it's not easy to do. Getting 2 heel hooks in a row is almost impossible. And then getting 3 heel hooks in a row is just unfathomable. So yeah, he dropped down, got the heel hook, and that's that. So I guess that's his thing. It's pretty crazy how far Walter Walker's came. I mean, this dude lost to Lucas Bresky, one of the worst heavyweights in the division, and now he's on a 3-fight heel hook streak, I guess. So yeah, interesting fight, quick fight, but Walter Walker gets the heel hook submission. Crazy. Up next, we had Eduardo Moura going against Lauren Murphy. Moura's minus 600. Murphy was plus 475. I'd stayed off this one just because I don't think Moura's that great, to be honest. And I actually thought Lauren Murphy could, hang in there for 15 minutes. And she did, and she did a lot better than I kind of expected. Murphy got really close to a submission win in the third round, had a very tight choke locked in. Moura was able to get out, but yeah, Moura slowed down very badly after the first, round and a half, 2 rounds. Wasn't the best look, and going forward, that's something we're going to have to worry about. But Moura got pretty much a layup. 41-year-old Lauren Murphy turning 42 in a couple days, retirement fight, hadn't fought in like 3 years. Eduardo Moura won the fight, but I think her stock definitely went down. I mean, if you got to finish Lauren Murphy, or dominate her over the course of 3 rounds, and neither of those things happened. But yeah, Murphy got it done. Had a very nice post-fight retirement speech. Shout out to Lauren Murphy. I was never a big fan of her, but hey, she went in there and she was always tough and always tried her hardest, which is nice to see. And she did good tonight. Almost got the third round upset win. Oh yeah, this is my big spot of the night. I'm very happy about this fight. Very proud about this fight. Chidi Njokuani, Jake Matthews, and I've just been so wrong on Chidi these last couple fights. I've been wrong on him, and the reason being is because I don't know. Chidi, I think he has all the skill. The thing about Chidi, though, is if he battles any adversity whatsoever in a fight, he looks for the door. Prior to this fight, this guy's been finished 8 times, right? Anytime there's any adversity, anytime he's not in the driver's seat, he quits. He's quit on multiple occasions, and I've been waiting for somebody to make him quit. And then Jake Matthews comes in here, and Jake Matthews gets his back and chokes him out in about a minute. And to be fair, I was not expecting that for the fight to play out that way. But once he took Chidi's back, I knew it was over. I knew Chidi was not fighting out of that position because that's just not what Chidi does. So I had a 0.75 unit bet on Jake Matthews to win inside the distance at plus 425. Massive line. And crazy was that big of a line considering Chidi's been finished 8, now 9 times. So that was huge for me tonight. The biggest cash of the night right there was Jake Matthews inside the distance. I almost played the money line, which I thought was a great bet as well. But yeah, Jake Matthews inside the distance for a big cash. Jake Matthews got it done. And hopefully I can continue to maybe fade Chidi in the future. But it all comes down to, it's all matchup dependent, right? Jake Matthews, I'm really glad he got a takedown. And with him getting a takedown, he got the win pretty easy. So yeah, shout out to Jake Matthews for that. All right. Up next, we have Chris Curtis, Max Griffin. I didn't bet anything here. I was kind of eyeing the Curtis KO 2-3 props, which if I did, I would have been pretty upset because, Curtis did do a really good job pressuring, really good job with the body shots. It looked like he was kind of hurting Max Griffin to the body a couple times late in the fight. But yeah, kind of how I thought it would play out. Chris Curtis by decision. He's minus 315. I thought the fight would be a lot closer than the minus 315 did indicate. That's kind of how it played out. But yeah, Chris Curtis gets the job done. Looks decent at welterweight, but we'll have to see going forward. I mean, Max Griffin, 39 years old. He's definitely up there, as is Chris Curtis. Yeah, Chris Curtis gets the job done by decision. Did he look minus 315? Not really. I think it was a split decision even, wasn't it? Yeah, split decision win for Chris Curtis. So kind of close. 64 to 59 on the significant strikes in favor of Chris Curtis there. Up next, we have Junior Tafa going against Tokkos. So this was my 1-800-GAMBLER fight of the week, a fight that if anybody was betting on this fight, they probably need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. So I stayed far, far away from this one, and I'm kind of upset with myself because I taped the fight, and I was initially picking Tokkos to win the fight because you watch Tokkos, and he is wrestling in every fight. He is grappling in every fight, and he does fight to a game plan. But the thing that made me kind of switch back and forth is he's just not that good at all. So, kind of switched back and forth. Initially like Tokkos, then it went Tafa, back to Tokkos, and then I ended up on Tafa, unfortunately. I thought Tafa probably knocks him out, and yeah, Tafa got close a couple times. End of the first round, early second round, but, Tafa is just not it. These Tafa brothers, they're just not it. Everybody was talking about how good of shape Tafa looked, and yeah, he looked in great shape, but looking in great shape and losing all that, it's not going to help your ground game at all. I mean, Junior Tafa's ground game is horrible. Just watch the Sean Sheriff fight. If Sheriff had 5 more seconds, Sean Sheriff would have beat him. Just a bad. I mean, it's a bad look. So going forward, if anybody can even remotely grapple like against Junior Tafa, you can't bet him, especially at minus 160. He actually closed, I saw on some books, like minus 240. So, yeah, I stayed far away from this one, but I'll be looking to fade both guys in the future. This was one of the lowest level fights I think I've ever seen. It was quite disgusting. But yeah, Tokkos got the job done. Second round submission. Let's move on. Vitor Petrino going against Austin Lane. Petrino gets the first round submission. And this one hurts because I was looking at Petrino first and second round submission today during the day. Saw round 1 sub was plus 1,500. Round 2 sub was like plus 2,500, and had my finger over the trigger. Didn't quite get there, but so that kind of hurt. Could have been a nice hit there, but yeah, Petrino got the job done as expected. Thought he would get Austin Lane out there within the first round and a half, and that's exactly what happened. Austin Lane now 7 losses, all come inside the distance, and Petrino's going to be good at heavyweight. And the reason he's going to be good at heavyweight is because there's not many good heavyweights. We just talked about Tafa, right? There's not many good heavyweights. Well, I guess Junior Tafa's a light heavyweight, but the other Tafa's a heavyweight. But yeah, there's not great heavyweights at all. Tai Tuivasa is on like a 7 or 8 fight losing streak. Sorry. And he's a top 10 heavyweight. Tai Tuivasa is a top 10 heavyweight, and he's lost 50 fights in a row. So yeah, I mean, Petrino should be ranked right now, quite frankly. I mean, this guy showed that he could grapple, and that's more than like 75% of the heavyweight division. So yeah, put him in the rankings. Why not? I mean, if Tai Tuivasa is ranked, let's rank Vitor Petrino at heavyweight. I mean, Waldo Cortes Acosta is like ranked 11. It's ridiculous. But yeah, Petrino gets the job done. Layup of a matchup, and he looked good at heavyweight. He looked really good at heavyweight. So I'm looking forward to Vitor Petrino going forward. Up next, we have Morgan Charriere going against Nate Landwehr. I didn't have any action on this fight, but I did pick Charriere. Yeah, not much stuck out for me. I thought it would be a very fun fight. It was a Nate Landwehr fight. I had to pick Charriere. I didn't love the line on him. And I know a lot of people are on Landwehr, and I totally get that. But, Landwehr is 37 years old, and the reason I went with Charriere is just because he's just so much better. Like, so much more skilled. Landwehr has that dog in him, and he's used that dog, and he's won a few fights in the UFC with that dog. But, I mean, Morgan's just so much better than Nate Landwehr. Landwehr, did start to come on in the second round a bit, but, Charriere landed a big shot in the third round and landed a bunch of follow-up shots, and then the fight was over shortly after. So that was a fun fight. That was a very fun fight. Charriere won the first, Landwehr won the second, and then Charriere put him away in the third. I was kind of rooting for Landwehr. It would have been nice to see him win, and it looked like it was trending to do so, but Charriere put a hold on that and knocked him out in the third round there. Up next, we have probably my worst bet of the worst bet of the week for me. It was Steve Garcia, Calvin Kattar, and Calvin's washed. He is washed. Oh my gosh. Calvin Kattar is washed. That was bad. That was very bad. Not sure what the game plan was from Calvin Kattar, but he did the same exact thing he did in the Zalal fight, but worse. I mean, in that Zalal fight, he landed 18 strikes, right? In the first 10 minutes, right? In the Steve Garcia fight tonight, Calvin Kattar landed 13 strikes. What happened to the volume, Calvin? This was a guy in Calvin Kattar who would land well over 5 significant strikes per minute, but he landed 18 in the first 10 minutes of this Zalal fight. Landed 13 in the first 10 minutes of the Steve Garcia fight. He's done. He's done. I don't think he hung him up, but he should have. Absolutely should have hung him up. I mean, 5-fight skid for Calvin Kattar. 1-6 in his last 7 fights. It's over. I mean, it was a horrible performance. I mean, Steve Garcia he looked good, but he really didn't have to do anything. I mean, I'm convinced Calvin Kattar probably loses to 90% of the division tonight. He just didn't show up. He didn't start fighting until 1 minute left in the third round. Just a bizarre performance. He was fighting for his jaw. I mean, you're on a 4-fight skid. You don't start fighting until 1 minute left? I don't get it. So I had a money line bet on Calvin Kattar, and then I had a 4-leg parlay, right? 3 of the legs tonight cashed. The one leg that didn't cash is I had the Steve Garcia, Calvin Kattar fight ends by knockout. So I lost the Kattar money line. I lost the fight ends by knockout. If the fight ended by knockout, it would have been an astronomical night tonight. Would have hit a massive parlay. But Steve Garcia didn't put Calvin Kattar away almost in the third round. And Calvin Kattar didn't engage. And when nobody engages, or when one side doesn't engage, it's not likely to finish, whether it's Steve Garcia or not. Because I didn't think Steve Garcia would go to decision for a very long time. But yeah, so that fight definitely hurt me. The next fight hurt me. I had Bonfim to win inside the distance, 1.5 units at plus 100. And, yeah, I mean, he got a good opportunity in the first round. Took Thompson down, got to his back, tried to sink in a choke, wasn't under the neck. I thought he would try to squeeze and try to potentially break his jaw. But, yeah, Thompson hung in there, showed some toughness. And quite frankly, I thought Thompson probably won the fight. I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't score the fight for Thompson. Like, I'm looking at... So Bonfim wins the first round, right? Has that submission attempt, if you want to call it that. He didn't get credit for one, but, attacks the neck. Does well in the striking, Bonfim in the first round. Second round comes around. Stephen Thompson outlands Bonfim 29-16, and then also lands a nasty head kick. And the third round hits, and Thompson actually gets outlanded 10-7, which is interesting. And Bonfim does out-control Thompson 2 minutes and 45 seconds to 15 seconds. But I did think the bigger shots were coming from Thompson, right? I think Thompson actually had the biggest shot in the third round. So I did score it for Thompson, but yeah, it was close. It was close. And, the crooked, corrupt judges, if it's close, they're not giving it to 42-year-old Stephen Thompson. They're going to give it to the 27-year-old prospect who's 17-1, now 18-1. So Bonfim gets it done. I had the inside the distance, and it really wasn't that close to hitting. So another bad bet for me. And then the main event, my night came down to the main event. I had a 2-unit bet on the under 1.5 rounds at minus 200. If it hit, winning night. If it lost, losing night. And it didn't last long. So Teixeira landed a shot on Derrick Lewis. Looked like it hurt his eye a little bit. Potentially may have been playing possum a little bit. But Derrick Lewis has done that how many times? Teixeira probably should have known. Like, if he's ever watched Derrick Lewis, how many times has Derrick Lewis played possum? A lot. And Teixeira, I guess, fell for the trap, because it was a trap. Fell for the trap and started swinging dicks with the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis. And if you swing dicks with Derrick Lewis, it's probably going to end very poorly. So, yeah, Teixeira gets... It's a weird stoppage. So I needed the under 1.5 rounds. So I was very biased. I needed the fight to finish. Like, I needed it bad. But it was a weird stoppage. So Teixeira gets dropped hard. Derrick Lewis gets on top, lands some follow-up shots. I thought the fight could have potentially been stopped after some follow-up shots, but it wasn't. And then Teixeira starts to actually get up, use the cage to get up, and then the ref stops the fight, and then Teixeira looks completely with it, looks completely fine. So it was a weird stoppage. Herzog's in there. I've given Herzog a lot of crap, but I don't know. What do you guys think of that stoppage? It's a weird stoppage. I'm happy with it. I mean, I needed it, but I don't know. Definitely looked like Teixeira could have kept going, but I don't know. So yeah, overall, decent night for me, up about 1.5 units. And it was a tough card. I didn't love this card from a betting perspective, but when you can win on nights like this, I'm pretty happy about it. So yeah, I like the card. It was a great card. 8 finishes tonight? 8 finishes, which is crazy. But yeah, solid night. Hopefully you guys did well. Let me know down in the comments how you guys did with the betting, with the picks. Let me know you guys' thoughts on the stoppage. Just let me know. So yeah, do me a favor, guys. Like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Cannot wait for UFC 318 next week. Looking forward to it. Best of luck, guys. See you later.